to another live stream here on our more random Linux and stuff development channel. Recurrently building the best Linux distribution and high performance developer scientific enterprise storage and Linux and stuff. And another attention to detail here with our T2 just raw, I probably need to update this a little bit, slogan. Just raw high performance and amazing Linux distribution, increasingly successful and stuff. And another attention to detail, right? For decades, 25 years, we maintain here our default Linux kernel configuration that we compose of templates and stuff so that it's not hard-coded, like mixing all the stuff together, like shared file system stuff. And today I wondered, so for days or weeks, actually years live on YouTube, like from a Ryzen 3950X over 5950X and now 7950X, I'm looking for performance, and more performance, obviously, for building 31 architectures and stuff. And also, since I have this AM5 gigabyte and 7950X, I'm looking for performance, right? I started here. So where did I start? I started here unboxing that November, yeah, a little bit, 2 months ago, only, probably, oh no, 3 months? Probably 3 months, 3 months ago. So I started with 2100 something single core Geekbench, and here like probably unboxing 23,000 or so, then overclocking, optimizing, and then MapleTree, previous videos, right? MapleTree and stuff. And also, probably you want to share, like, subscribe more main channel, I would probably make a overclocking guide and stuff. So overclocking, memory subtimings, I easily gained like 1,000 points, and then MapleTree, recent Linux kernel 6.1 more main channel, MapleTrees, and last recently used LR, last recently used this is actually last recently used generational LRU memory management subsystem stuff. So I nearly gained, how much was it, 700 Geekbench multi-core points. And today I stumbled, and that is a continuation of 25 years of building one of the most amazing sorted, readable, scriptable, and architecture optimized and so on. Because today I wondered, I wanted, among other things, a review of final kernel configuration, and I noticed, I basically wanted to check that all the architectures, different CPU architectures, whether it might be enabled, that MapleTree and stuff, whether that's supported on architecture stuff. So I noticed that this debug MapleTree stuff was forced on, right? And so I was wondering, like, what's going on here? And so this is forced enabled by debug kernel, I believe, test MapleTree. Yeah, right. So this is forced enabled by, selected by M in test MapleTree, and so that is only a module. But so debug test MapleTree, and so there are a couple of, like, all of those kernel test things that I never like really needed, but they built as module just because, like, why not? Just a little bit more testing, also test string copy and stuff. So just having test MapleTree as a module triggers this debug MapleTree, which, and so I was wondering, like, how much more performance can I get with, like, actually not having this debug stuff for MapleTrees in there? Hopefully doing next to nothing, right? Because we don't build this, we don't usually debug this kernel structures, algorithms and stuff. And so I, here of course are multiple more debug modules. And so then I took a look, right? So long story short, this just disabling some more kernel debugging stuff, including MapleTree, gives me another 10 seconds boost. I was previously hoovering here with all the overclocks and previous MapleTree LRU generational LRU And you have seen this previously for, like, my previous record here for the 1750X was 4 minutes 2 seconds, although usually with all the turbo boosting and heat and stuff, like 4 minutes and 4 seconds, give or take, so like 2 seconds, give or take, boosting and thermals and stuff. So from 4 minutes and 4 seconds to 3 minutes and 52 seconds, right? Also, you see this here with Geekbench. Previously, I had here my previous record just like a week ago, 26,110-ish. So Geekbench a little bit higher, and more interestingly for me, performance developer, right? As seen here in the thumbnail. And that is not little, right? This is another 4%. So with all the performance tweaks, right? I basically, and that is what 25 years and 3 years live on YouTube bring here for your favorite Linux distribution supporting P3, SG Octane, and latest and greatest Epic thread ripping. And ironically, I only enabled, you might be wondering, why has this unsuccessful one-man YouTuber this stuff enabled by default? Here, this is all in kernel debugging, and then in wherever that was, kernel debugging, somewhere, or where even was that? Somewhere there, doesn't matter. And so the only reason I had this on, right, I enabled that previously. So this, again, so this is a performance, right, from 4 minutes 4 seconds to 3 minutes 52 seconds. So 10, 12 seconds. So like 10 actually. If we call this, what do I even have there? If we actually recompute this to, if we call this 12 seconds from that's like, yeah, nearly even kind of 5%-ish, 4 to 5%. It is like free performance, right? So the only reason I had this enabled is actually, do I have this still in the log? Is it that one? Yeah. Is it this one? Is that one? Of course, as we unblamed this, yes, I know we still work with Subversion, get over it. If you shall like subscribe and become a developer, like if we have dozens of developers who regularly contribute and want me to, I'm more efficient with Subversion as much as you love and hate it anyway. So I only changed this, and this is also the history of our Linux distribution, right? So I enabled one option, the general kernel debugging stuff, for timer, config timer stats for Intel's PowerTop, right? Remember in 2007, 15 years ago, when Intel released this PowerTop user space tool for tracking power usage. So I had to enable this, right? So 2007, you enable a kernel option just to get, and it's also a little bit silly that for config timer stats for Intel's PowerTop, like remember 2007 when you couldn't use Intel's latest and greatest power analysis tool on retail consumer Linux kernels. Anyway, so I enabled that only for this PowerTop, for the latest and greatest like debug kernel, right? So 15 years later, like due, actually I should have benchmarked that more often. And the other option was also this one, enabling, all right, so the other option was also only actually here live on YouTube. Remember this previous video, Epiphan DVI to USB, or USB to DVI, DVI to USB? Yeah. That I still theoretically have to reverse engineer this FPGA-based capture dongle that I'm actually not using the most, and only sometimes, long story short. So to reuse this bloody previous video, my rants about totally not cool binary-only garbage drivers, right? And so just here live on YouTube, I enabled this bloody config debug lists and config function traces stuff. It's like hotplug PCI, obviously nice to have, but I only enabled the other thing for, and this is also like, you ruin your performance with Intel's PowerTop and binary only compatibility. So I only built a kernel here that to be able to, once upon a time 3 years ago, to be able to load the bloody Fedora build binary only kernel module, because it was built from Epiphan in that way to be compatible with the Fedora kernels, Fedora or Red Hat Enterprise, something of that sort. So yeah, ruin your performance with Intel's PowerTop and binary only compatibility. So what I do now is, of course, I disable that. You obviously want, for playing along at home, the highest performance scientific and developer Linux. And the achievements here are, of course, crazy, right? 4% better better performance here, 3% there, 2% there, after a while, 10% better performance. It will be amazing to see how much further I squeeze down the build of our 31 architectures. Maybe I actually spend the extra minute or hour just to find one easily compiling architecture. I have their list just to make this around power of 2 of 32 architecture combinations that we support by default. And so, of course, I disable all of this. So this benchmarking is with disabling all of this kernel debugging stuff. So it's not like one option, it's like all of them, because I basically need none of them, except I will actually do one more test, because recurring theme, right, this crazy YouTuber, nothing better to do with his tiny little, it's like other founders run their company to bankruptcy. We just developed the best Linux distribution live on YouTube. And so the one thing I will actually test is I, by pure chance, also found another interesting kernel option that I wonder that wasn't enabled by default. I wonder how much performance this costs. Just when you can find it, which is this bug on data corruption. And that is available. I wonder how much it costs. It's certainly nice to have. On our Discord, someone just asked, because I posted that, this is a little bit hilarious. In my opinion, like, you kind of want to have this by default, I would say. I still have that here. Corruption, bug on data corruption. And I wonder how much this costs on performance. I hope it doesn't lose that much. I wonder if we could actually check that. So what that does is, if the kernel finds data corruption, of course this costs a little bit performance, right? I just, like in the introduction of this video, say performance. You only can substitute performance with more performance. But that's actually, like, if the kernel can already check some things, if this only costs like 0.000001, like, why not? Although I hope it's like a soft bug of printing, like for me as a developer, but even system administrator, actually kind of nice thing to know, like even with ECC memory and stuff, and even caches are, of course, these days with some CRC or ECC, L1, L2 CPU, on-chip CPU caches. But stuff can corrupt. So even if your memory and caches are super stable, your code is, of course, not, because too many YouTubers constantly say perfect code, previous video, right, perfect code is too expensive and stuff. Not my opinion, like other crazy YouTuber opinion. I made a video, right? Of course we need perfect code, right? Again, not my opinion. My opinion is we need perfect code, because every not perfect code has bugs. And if there is already like memory management, use after free, out of bounds and stuff, if the kernel or like your keyboard joystick driver or NVMe, Intel, or God forbid Broadcom and stuff, Wi-Fi driver, right? 2022, 2023, your Broadcom or Marvel or Intel Ethernet driver, unstable and stuff. If this corrupts, whether DMA bus mastering, if you're often usually not running with IOMU, or just simple kernel, fat finger typos or thinkos. Yeah, benchmarks is next. Let's test that. And if this is, if the kernel anyway check that and just doesn't bug on it, I would hope, would it? I mean, I can't test like unless we could, of course, open dev mem and find some kernel structures and clobber them intentionally. But actually, you know what? I need to build this locally for little many builds. Okay, that was too much shell history. So yeah, let's do one more test. And if this performance impact is neglectable, I'll actually activate that for potentially finding some data corruption for at your side playing along at home. And also especially for my memory overclocks, right? If you're already like me, you shall like subscribe more main channel probably. I wanted for weeks to do that. And now I have uptimes like with, after some rough start and stuff. Actually, how long is it uptime? Did I reboot? All right, I rebooted today, obviously for this kernel testing. Previously I had an uptime of a week or stuff. the weak uptime only interrupted with such kind of booting new performance. And so yeah, coming along nicely, especially with our highly optimized, smartest optimized, aka everything size except hot files optimization strategy TM of our Linux distribution previous video. And probably what is next is to benchmark this against Intel's Clear Linux and then see what more performance we can find somewhere between the code lines and kernel config. Actually, we need to check that that is actually, but I think this was the only option that doesn't require bug on data corruption. Yeah, so all the others, actually, why is this debug list on? Actually, that is interesting. I would have thought that require kernel debug. Let's, so probably actually still run with this option as right, I thought, okay, this was still on, this was actually, okay, let's do it like that, I guess. And see, so I leave this in here as a reminder that you might need that. Is this timer stat nowadays? Is it still config debug like it was in 2007? Timer stats. So yeah, that probably might still be, but yeah, I'm not, you would hope that Intel and AMD employees have in the meantime fully optimized the heck out of that stuff. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to check subscribe for more performance stuff to come. Eric the Grey loves the title. I'm happy that you enjoy this. Certainly, I need to choose titles like this to help the algorithm recommend this amazing content. Cheers. Like I can recommend this amazing coffee. And that was bug on hello, corruption. Why is this still debug? Why is this debug maple tree? What? Why is this still on? Actually, so this is outside of debug maple tree is not that. How is that getting turned on though? No, I'm what the heck? Did I look into the right? So maybe there's a tiny performance improvement after all, as this option apparently probably was still on my last running kernel. So it was initially not set. Apparently this is still forced on by something crazy. Debug maple tree. Oh, this test maple tree is, why is this runtime testing menu still on? Oh, no, are you kidding me? Does this not depend on? I expected this to depend on debug kernel. Okay, crazy. So I mean, for normal, what the heck? This is some other the wrong. How did I take this turn into the? No help option available. Okay, fine. Do we need anything from this? I mean, these are loadable modules, so you would need to load those. So yeah, YOLO whatever, I guess. And I mean, obviously this is only worse if you develop on the kernel. And I guess should we sort this a little bit better? Maybe this stuff together. I mean, so this is not enabled. Maybe because the only thing is this depends also on config debug kernel. So, I mean, yeah, I could leave it like that. It's no operation. And if you wanted that and you debug why this doesn't select, then, I mean, it is a little bit silly in my opinion, right? I wonder what Linus Torvalds and Intel and AMD are doing that if you want Intel's power top, although is it still a thing actually? I mean, sure, maybe it's not a thing anymore. I mean, I'm certainly not using this on a daily basis. I think there were for many years not updates in these tools. I always wonder that corporations do tools and then they don't update them for 404. Cool, thank you very much. Where is even the 2023 you need to resort to... Actually, there is a freaking new release. So, oh wait, is it still... Oh wow, this redirects to... I can't make this shit up. Yeah, let's do the final build there. Hopefully, famous last words. Hopefully, final last. Let's maybe update this power top. Actually, here that is slightly newer. Live on this channel. Actually, wait, did this not 404? How did this 404 if... No, I'm intrigued. How does this... Oh, wait, did this not a second ago 4? Ah, right, maybe the download link. Okay, so this doesn't... Maybe just the download link 404. Yeah, let's grab that, whichever... What would be the difference? Is this auto-confiscated or... or is it pre-built? Or maybe it's a pre-built nonsense. Yeah, 2022, you need to grab this stuff from GitHub because mega corporations can't afford proper download site anymore. So what was the archive? What was the download encoding? Was it this? So the tag is with V, right? Oh no, the tag name is even more stupid. Or is it tag name? Wait, is it the tag name or just some verbose 2023? You can't even know. It's probably with... Yeah, I hate that mega corporations tag versions with V. Not sure if that will download. Oh, this downloaded. Okay, guys. See if it builds. Yeah, the only win-win, the other win-win of finalizing this stuff, but also actually finalizing this stuff does. Like one more thing, not only building a YouTube channel, but also one more thing. So this is debug. Kernel is not set. Bug on data corruption is set there. Why is debug maple tree still set? So this is why is this stuff still? So this is okay. I wonder if bug on data corruption is even a thing. I mean, we could grab the kernel sources, which probably we should do. But I wonder if debug list and debug maple tree is off, whether bug on data corruption even has a meaningful, like nothing to do potentially. So maybe that is. Where's my bug on? Actually, maybe we sources together after all. Debug. But maybe it doesn't have something to do then. So yeah, one more, nothing like building this one more time. Oh cool, that doesn't build anymore for reasons. Auto general, darn it. Okay, we could try if the other download is auto confiscated. I only, nah. What is it? Not a fan of this modern download nonsense. Not sure if data will update it like that, but that was MapleTree, right? Why did this not switch off, or is that other? I actually should check that. It's crazy. I mean, yeah, sure, we do that manually, but it's also crazy how many attempts. 3, 5. I just did this so that it is actually stopped. So that is unmet direction dependency detected. You can't mix this stuff up. Or is it? Oh, wait a second. This is maybe this is so. It's obviously not dmask and kernel loops. So that is. Yeah, it's not kernel work, this is just kconfig. Okay, so this actually enables, as I expected, select option kernel should bug and consider corruption kernel memory structures when they get checked for validity. So, trigger kernel, all libs kconfig debug. It doesn't select debug list. And somehow there, I guess there's a kconfig bug you can't lay live on this channel. It's like so much too perfect code is too expensive. That's right. Yeah, everything is broken left and right because professionals sing. Yeah. But now I'm a little bit wondering. So this is apparently only linked lists, so not maple trees. What is with maple trees? But that is still. Well, why is this? Wait, why does this? This is super crazy because if I jump to that with 1, selected by M test. Wait, these tests are still on? Why is this test still on? How often do I? Why is this still on? I thought I had disabled that. How is this still on? Okay, so much to my previous, like, if you get this for free, no, you don't get this for free. And so, wait, is this without config? Does it need a config prefix? That might explain the thing. Yeah, that needed a config prefix. That. Okay, one more, hopefully last build. And that also means that there is even still more performance. It's like, yeah, did I say 4 or 5%? I wonder what the final verdict will be. Is it 6 or 7%? That would be pretty amazing. And then probably share, like, subscribe, Patreon, GoFundMe, all the good stuff. Actually, I guess it's time to benchmark our amazingly optimized just raw and most perfect Linux against other top 10 like Intel Clear Linux. But that is such an effort, like again, hours of full afternoon or day. Like you could easily spend a whole day of just preparing this, a proper A to A testing, same system and so on, like native install, not virtualization, yada yada. Hours later, just setting up the stuff. Either also like performance, also do you want to rule out AMD state, CPU frequency, schedule, boosting stuff? Do you want to run fixed frequency for only testing the real actual code and not like the real algorithms and not like randomly selected CPU frequency and boosting algorithms? But anyway, leave in the comments below. Cool, this also doesn't, maybe I forgot download. But yeah, leave in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, Patreon, YouTube membership, and all the good stuff. Let's take a look on one. Lots of comments about perfect code would have been better if they specified the domain of live services. Yeah, also with this perfect code stuff, as we still discuss this, I would even argue, even for web stuff, you want perfect code, right? In my opinion. And also the goal should be, but I said I made a video, right, more on my channel. But even for web stuff, even if you would argue, you want perfect code in the kernel context, or like you want your compiler to be perfect, you want your hardware register RTL, HDL for your CPU. You want your CPU to be perfect, not Intel's and AMD's and stuff peak bugs. You want your CPU perfect, microcode, right? CPU, RTL, microcode. You want your BIOS, your firmware, you want your Linux kernel, you want your compiler, you want your C library. Where to stop, right? Theoretically, you want all the stuff perfect because each imperfection is security or performance neglect, and security will hunt you like Heartbleed, Spectre Meltdown, and so on, right? And then even web stuff, right? I would even argue you would not, like, some people might argue, but this low quality web stuff, like, no, it's not low quality. Only the web development culture that existed for 20 years, I so hated, like this CGI shell scripting, PHP, Perl, and now glorified Ajax, asynchronous JavaScript, and modern Web 2.0 and so on, Node.js and frameworks. I would argue we only have the math, like web development is only such a math because of decades, like soon 2 decades of imperfections, right? Building on foundations of rotten CGI garbage, and web development should not have been like this, right? It could have been so much faster, better to develop, like how error prone and annoying is all the web stuff, right? Because Internet Explorer, like not being developed, blocking everything, like the whole web being held hostage of Internet Explorer 6, as far as I remember. And so like I would even argue, you can't argue we just do shit web stuff because, and then our code can be shitty. No, web code sure is too shitty and imperfect, but only because we allowed, like the web companies and culture allowed people to develop in quite random garbage. So I would even argue even web stuff should be perfect, right? Imagine all the security vulnerabilities in your flight booking, insurance, banking, and it's like you want your banks. And sure, with the like 2 decades of pretty broken web foundations, frameworks and stuff, it is no wonder, but it shouldn't be like that, right? And I would also argue like stuff should be a magnitude or 2 or 10 smaller and compact and stuff. It would be more, it would even be as pretty, right? I would even say stuff shouldn't be as pretty. Like imagine like how much overhead there is, like code load of duplication and foundations and layers of fixing other imperfect code. Like remember, like CSS and HTML5 stuff too buggy and shitty. We need layers of foundations and frameworks to fix stuff. It's like, yeah, if just stuff would have been, if code would have been, code and standards would have been more perfect, right? But that's a topic for another video. How cool this stuff still doesn't build, because why should it? 2023, power top, configuration marginalities, what's going on here? So it's still a lot of freaking, what is even the freaking difference in all the bloody Okay, it looks like we need to auto-gen that. That's not the end of the world. It's just not amazing. I will take a look at this later. Not important now. Maybe even auto. Yes, because why do I hate this? Because auto tool stuff, imperfect stuff, right? Random warnings and garbage, like whether that also exit failed with please M4 pattern allows, like, yeah, you know what? You had me at this imperfect auto stuff. But anyway, so maple trees, okay, kernel, debug, runtime, config, runtime, testing menu. Okay, this is finally off. Maple tree. I hope I don't lose anything substantial, and it might even be even faster. I mean, obviously, and that's also the difference when people praise, hey, clear Linux is so fast. Like, yeah, if I disable all nice to have runtime debug and testing stuff, then surprise, we are also faster. Anyways, that's it for this video. I need to finish this coffee and probably reboot for one more performance testing. Leave me in the comments below. Leave your comments below. Don't forget to share, subscribe, Patreon, YouTube membership, all the good stuff. Oh, Happy New Year and Happy New Performance Year. Have a good day or night, and looking forward to more such amazing stuff to come. Eric comments, web is a mess. Yeah, no surprise there. Seen so much bad code that I'm not surprised. It's huge profitable to be a hacker because it's so easy. Yeah, people, yeah, and those web developers tell their YouTube audience that unfortunately Sherlock Unsubscribe is larger than mine. Such developers tell on YouTube 100,000 subscribers imperfect code is harmful and stuff. It's like, no, dude, it's like, and code wants to be perfect, right? If you write imperfect code, then that's your bug. See you next time.